Hey guys, welcome on back. All right, we are going to do part 7, I believe. And we're going to make this our last part because I think we have enough decorations done. You guys know how to do this and stuff like that. I will show you what I did. I'll have to take these out anyways. So I made a card for each pocket. And let me grab this sheet of stickers so I can show you. Okay. So these are, I believe, 7 1/4 by 7 1/4. About 7 by 7. And to make my little tabs here, because I don't need them to write on it or anything like that, because we're just gonna pull it out. I use this off the bottom. This is some extra pieces I used off my other sheet. And I just made tabs out of these. So I did a front and a back, and I made the tabs out of those. I'm gonna have to take these out though because they might get squished when we're working on the cover. So I did 4 of them. And I'm not going to cover them with paper because, you know, that's a lot of paper to waste when it's just sticking inside. These are probably, you can use these for writing on. You can use these for gluing down memorabilia from, you know, like maybe tickets or, you know, some more, you can journal on them. You can use them for whatever you want. Or you don't even have to make these if you don't want to use cards like that. So as right now, I don't know what. So I got a couple things we'll do inside, then we'll work on a cover, and we'll call that good enough, you know, and just because it's going to take us still a long time to decorate. Oh, I did make one more card for here. It holds it in a little better. So I made one more card for there, and I think that's all I did. So for the inside covers, I really didn't like the way the pocket looks. So I've got these cards. I did a black background there. And we're just going to put these on the inside. I am going to leave them. I'm actually going to put them down here. And I'm going to leave the back open for a pocket. So you can stick some, make some tags, stick some tags on. So I'm going to do that with those. And let's see which one of these glue bottles has glue in. Or I should say that's not clogged up too. So let's see if this one. Okay, good. We have a working one. You just never know, right? Okay, we're just gonna glue. So I just used the cut aparts that came in the kit, and then I just cut a black piece to go on the back to frame it in. Just get that up there a little bit. And then all we're going to do is we will just glue the 3 sides and glue it down, and then we can use this for a pocket, and you can make, you know, some tags to put in there, or you can just throw pictures in there. This will have lots of picture space. So now we can take and just add photos or whatever into the top. And I just use regular glue. This is fabric, but my art glitter glue and my barrel art glue works really good. If I was doing fabric on fabric, I'd use my Fabri-Tac. Okay. Now let's put one on the back page also. Inside cover. Same thing. I'll make sure I want my texture kind of showing up. Not that you're going to see much of it anyways. All right. Good. You can put anything on your inside covers. Sometimes I put fabric pockets. Sometimes I do like a nameplate thing, which is what I'll probably do when I decide what I'm going to use this one for, if I'm going to be giving it away to a friend who has a youngster. I will make a card for the front, and they can use that to put the name on, some information on, whatever they want. Like if it's a, you know, birth one or whatever they want to use it for. Okay, and then I just had one more card I wanted to put, and I wanted to put this one here. And I use pretty much black for all my backgrounds. I think I pretty much use black for all of them. Nope, like here I use red, but I think that's because this one was black, so black and black, so the red looked better there. But a lot of it I'll use black because I like the black background. I like the contrast between there. So that's kind of just a preference. You could have probably used a red background for this, or yellow, or the green, whatever you want. You do you. I'm already kind of working on, I said the next one's going to be the cookbook out of one of the old planners I got on clearance. I've had requests to show that, so I've kind of been working on that, getting all the stuff I need for it so that we can go ahead and work on that next. I usually, take some time off between albums first before I, because it's a lot of work to do albums and stuff. I mean, I can go on and on with this one. I could, just keep really decorating it and taking you along, but you get the gist of it. You just put on, like I said, I prefer to add my stuff after I add pictures, and then that's usually what I do, Okay, so let's work on our cover. We're going to be using our fabric tack instead. So make sure I got no papers sticking out, because we're going to probably be putting it up a lot like this. I wanted to use, this is the widest I could find in the Ladybug ribbon. And I wanted to use that, but of course you can see how it is not wide enough. So to solve that problem, I am going to put on each edge, I'm going to first put down this ribbon, and I want to put about halfway. I want it to be peeking out. So I want it to peek out on the front. So we're going to be doing that. Let's kind of cut that off, find a place we can kind of make it even. Let's get the better scissors for my fabric. Kind of make that more straight. And then we'll see where we need that. I like adding lace to my covers in some form. Now, I may later on put more embellishments on, stuff like that, when I find certain things that I like. Let's see which way it looks better this way. So all I'm going to do, make sure I have it positioned where I want it, and get some fabric tack down. Get my little rag for dabbing. And we're just going to clean the nozzle off a little. Fabric tack is not my favorite thing to work with, because it always hardens up. You don't need a lot of this. I'm just going to go down. You don't need to put it on really thick, is what I should say. I'm just going to start on this side first, and then I'll work around the edge. Lint off there. I'm going to lay that down. Don't worry about it being like perfectly straight and any of that stuff. After all, it is handmade. Okay, and then I just dab it. Pull it this way just a little bit. Just kind of push it down. Cut off that little string I see there. And I'll cut a little bit more off the edge here. Okay, now I'm going to do along this side. Same thing, I'm just going to run my fabric tack. I'm going to probably have to try to bring it up. This is like a brand new bottle too, and it's like So thick. I do put acetone in it, but this is a brand new bottle, so I shouldn't need to yet. So we're going to roll that over. I know it's white on white, but I didn't like the off-white and I didn't have a red. So we're going with this. Okay, feels good. Now we're going to do this side. Same thing we're going to be doing. I think both of these, I know the Ladybug came from Hobby Lobby. They don't have it anymore. They have now, it is kind of like a burlap one. Just gonna cut off again. Okay, two-handed. What I do is I just kind of line it right on the edge here and then roll it over. Then I know I'm somewhat kind of getting it even. Put a little bit right there. Okay, let me get a little bit more under here on the edge. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's check this edge. Could use some. All right, here we go. We're going to bring it up again. Along the edges really good. I'm going to let this totally dry before I cut any more of the edges off because I got a little close there. I don't want to mess up my scissors too much. All right, how's my edge looking? So now, we put this down. You can see, we'll put that right down the middle and you'll see the lace. I'm going to cut this as straight as possible, and I'm gonna take the wire out, I think, because it wants to go in all these different directions. So we'll take, first we'll cut what we need off here. Just a rough estimate. Nope, not my good scissors, not with the wire. Don't want to ruin my good scissors on the wire. All right, now, usually you can see the wires right there. And if I had my little wire things, I would just pull, but it comes out really easy. You can see it, if I just push up a little bit, it peeks out. And it, oops, getting stuck on the, there we go. All right, and I think it lays better. You kind of see that it fights me and it keeps popping up. And now this one is laying down nice and flat. So I prefer on certain projects to take my wire out. Okay. Now I'm gonna do it, normally I would hold this in my lap between my legs, upside down like this, but you won't be on camera. So I am going to put the glue on here instead, and then I'll pick it up and put it on there. It'll just be a little easier. You know, you do what you do when you're, you know, I'm just going to take and go along the edges here. That's the main areas, the edges. And then I'll run a little bit. And this dries clearer, you can't see it through there. Don't know if it'll dry before we. Now, let's see if I can get it picked up and it'll stay for us. Get these closures to kind of work with me. Okay, I'm going to try to pick this up. And I'm going to try to get it as even as possible. I'm kind of looking in the camera. Ooh, I can tell I got too much glue, or too much. I put the glue too far down. All right, let me stand up. I'm just gonna wipe a little bit of this off. Let it dry, and then I'll cut it all off. Do not cut it while it's wet. Okay. So you have some time while it's wet to kind of play with it. Okay, so that's what it'll look like then. And just make sure if you have a directional ribbon, you make sure you have it the right way. This one, the ladybugs go in all different directions, but just keep an eye on that. You got a little time while it's wet to kind of stretch things over. If you got it a little crooked, which I do there a little bit. I'm not going to worry about it though. I just want a little bit more pop of ladybugs on my binder. And I may put, if I decide, I don't have very many ladybug charms, but if I decide to put some charms on, I can still get my punch in there. You know, I have this one. This punch. And I will punch a hole in here, and then I can hang the charms off of there. But I don't have much. I was going through my stash, and I don't have much that I liked. So we are not going to add anything as of right now. Okay, we just got to wait for that to dry. Make sure I got my album the right way. Nope. That's the back. Okay. Get as much of the strings off as I can. Okay. And get the lotion off. Or some of this glue off me. Okay. So now I'm not going to fancy my cover up too much. Depending on how you're going to store this, if you're going to put it on the shelf and it's going to be slid in and out between books, you don't want nothing too bulky. I'm not doing my back at all, because this is also a fabric too. It could rip easier than, well, paper would rip easy too. But I'm not going to do too much bulk on there either. But I will probably, a lot of my albums, my ones that I want to keep, I kind of just stand up like this. I usually get a big plate stand like, and just display them like that, just so I have them kind of for reference, or if someone asks me for an album, or, you know, somebody, I want to give somebody an album for like a new baby or wedding or whatever it is the case, you know, I got glue all over my fingers. So ignore that, guys. So I'm trying to get as much off as I can. Should have a sink alongside me. All right, so on the cover, we are going with this one. I like this one. I did the same thing. I got the black. So we're just going to put that on. But we will bulk this one up just a little bit. We are going to use this. The black one, we're going to glue straight. We'll glue straight down. But this one, we will puff up just a little bit. And we will use this that I got from Picket Fence Studios. And as of this They still did have some in their sale thing. So I'm just rolling it out like this. Whew. And then I'm going to lay down. When you're putting on a cover like that, that's going to get a lot of, you know, traction. Maybe people are looking at it a lot. I like to make sure that my foam tape is covering the whole back. And this works out perfect because it does cover pretty much everything. There'll be a little, oh my gosh, I'm going to stick. There'll be a little bit showing. And I'm just going to put it down a little on the edges. This will be easier for me to cut. And I'm going to cut like on an angle here. That way it won't be sticking out. Okay. This is very sticky stuff, guys. So if you're kind of still on the fence, no pun intended, you know, this is going to last me. I think this was 50 feet or something like that for it. Plus I got a few of the little rectangle shapes. And yes, I did order another one of these because I do go through foam tape a little faster than maybe the regular crafter would. But so I figured this roll is what the price was right, $10 for the whole roll. I can cut it down. There's a little bitty piece sticking out there I want to cut off so it doesn't peek out. So I can cut it down as I need to cut it down, or use big strips if I need to use big strips. Get my scissors in there. There we go. All right. Now we're just going to lay that down. That'll give us a little bit of dimension, but not too much dimension. Okay. We're just going to kind of do our best because you have one chance with this, guys. I'll tell you that. One chance with this foam tape. So do your best. How's that look? Did I do pretty good? Yeah, a little off there, but we're not going to stress about it. Okay, and then we'll glue that down. So that'll make it more sturdy too. And give it just a little bit of dimension. And I could have used the black. I did have a couple blacks. Oh, I would have to cut. Did have black ones too. But it doesn't really show too much. They didn't have black in the roll. They just had, I don't know if these pieces are left yet, but they did have some black. That's why I grabbed that pack. I think it was the multi-pack. Now, I gotta get this recapped. Now, our glue. Anybody see my glue? You know, I start out with a nice clean desk every time I do a taping, but it builds up really fast. Get you back in it. And then just put a good layer of glue down because you want this to hold, you know, you don't know how much use you're going to get out of it. If there is an album or junk journal style that you guys want me to make, let me know. If you want a really, really simple, plain album without all the fancy doors and all that stuff, let me know. I'll make just a simple one, as simple as I can get. I don't know. I have quite a bit of videos. I don't know if I have a real basic beginner one. I might. And I'll look and see if I do. But if you guys want, if there's something you want, I have to do that. I have to do the cookbook first because somebody wanted the cookbook. That's still a little tacky. Made out of the planners. Now, I don't know about, I don't think I'll like them though, but I do have some like little wooden, you know, ladybugs I might put around. But until I find the right thing, you know, the embellishment, I don't know if I'll put anything else on anyways. But that's, I think, more than enough for your cover anyways. So we're going to end this today. I just got to cut that off once. I don't want to gunk up my scissors. But this is what it looks like. And you can't see the glue through there, can you? Fabric tack's really pretty good. It dries nice and clear. It actually feels pretty dry already. Just this is tacky here a little bit yet. But just by doing that, see, like if your ribbon isn't wide enough, add a different ribbon. The contrast is nice too. I like lace. So let's go through this because we're gonna end this one. So we have where we can some pockets on our inside cover. And you can add more stuff to it. You don't want to add too much. If I'm going to be sliding things in, I don't want too much up here to be getting caught on. And then we have our gatefold where we have the magnet and then it swings. And we did do some decoration on some of these. And then we have this one, stand up. And you got, like I said, there's plenty of places to put your pictures. We have a pocket here. We can put either pictures or just, you know, right there. And then our waterfall, which of course, nope, it should be on the outside. Magnets down, and we have plenty of spots. And then we can put a real big picture back there. And this one, got the two separate. And it opens up like that. Like would be cute, like, you know, if you do use this for a baby one, maybe put the baby's picture and mom and dad. I know mom and dads don't always like their picture taken. Then we have this one. This one's Velcroed. This one has a big pocket. And then this one. So I did make 2 journaling cards. And that spread. And 2 was perfect because it the one kept, you know, because I took and made the belly band a little, put a little bulk to it, depth to it there. One wasn't holding perfectly, but 2 works. And you can actually still get one more if you wanted to. And then we have this one. It opens this way and then again opens this way. So we have lots of room to put pictures. And this one I didn't Velcro down because the Velcro would have been in a bad spot, but that's okay. And then we Velcroed the bottom one, and we have that. And then let's get our cards back in. Does anybody know where I put them? Oh, here they are. Let's see if I can get them back kind of in the right order now. So then I just have these, and they slide right in. And just the little tab is peeking out. I really like that. So you can find them. Down. There we go. Next one. Instead of finding the pocket. I enjoyed this one. I like, you know, I like the paper and everything on it. I have a lot of stuff yet for the decorating, which I'll just put in one of my envelope things until I decide for sure what I'm going to do. And now you can see those tabs. Let me move those. And you can see how nice you can see those tabs now. They're in there. So we open up. You can see all the tabs so that they know that there's something in the pockets. And we'll clasp it shut with this hook, which I like. And then we still have room, so we got plenty of space to put all our pictures and all our other stuff in there. So we got more than enough space yet. We can get a lot in there yet. Once you start, you'd be surprised, once you start adding pictures to this and everything else, it's going to really bulk up. Quite weighty already. So well, I hope you guys enjoyed this Ladybug one. If there's, like I said, if there's a style you want to see or something, let me know, and I'll put it on my list for after the cookbook. But otherwise, give me a few week break from the albums, and we will start with the cookbook one. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.